Welcome to Tasting with Mike and Matt. I'm Mike Veach, and this is my partner in crime, Matt Kohorst.
Howdy.
And today we thought we would do an old classic. We're going to do the Henry McKenna Single Barrel Bottled in Bond.
All right.
10-year-old bourbon from Heaven Hill. Henry McKenna's got a real rich heritage. The McKenna started distilling back in the 19th century in Fairfield, Kentucky. They made whiskey all the way up through Prohibition when they were shut down for Prohibition. Julian Van Winkle and Stitzel and A.P.H. Stitzel and W.O. Weller and Sons took their whiskey into their consolidation warehouse and sold it for McKenna. They sold it to people wanting medicinal whiskey. They bottled it and charged $1 a case commission for to the McKennas for doing this for them and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of Prohibition, McKenna started back up again. But like many distilleries during the Second World War, they just couldn't make enough money to stay in business, so they ended up selling out to Seagram's.
Ah, okay.
So McKenna brand was actually owned by Seagram's for many, many years. And then Seagram's sold the U.S. rights to McKenna to Heaven Hill, but kept the overseas rights.
Ah, okay.
And to this day, Four Roses has a McKenna that they sell like in New Zealand and Australia.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
Overseas. So, but Heaven Hill doesn't own the overseas rights to it.
Ah, okay.
So this is an America-only product. So it's a 10-year-old bottled in bond. I've had this bottle for a few years. This was barreled in 12-10-07, so I've had it since 17. We bought several bottles of this when, in about 2017, it won the spirit competition in San Francisco, and all of a sudden it became very popular.
Right, yeah.
And as a result, it went up in price as well.
Took a jump in price, yeah.
We bought this bottle for about $27.50, maybe $30.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you can find it in the stores, it's going to be $55-$60.
Wow. Now, you always said about this one that it was too cheap at $27.
Yeah, I think it was. I think even in those days, the realistic price for a 10-year-old bottled in bond should have been $35. Or
Yeah.
so.
Right.
It's gone up more than that now because demand.
Hey, man.
You know, I'm not even sure the retail price, suggested retail price is probably about $50.
Right.
But when it gets to the liquor stores, because it is in such high demand, you're lucky to find it for anything less than $65-$70.
Yep, that's correct. It is hard to find.
Back in my cigar days, this was a very good bourbon to have with a cigar.
Now, what makes a good cigar bourbon?
Well, it's complex. It has a lot of the spices and caramels and other types of spice flavors that you find in a good cigar smoke. So, I mean, you know, that's got a nice amber color to it.
Oh, yeah.
10 years old, 100 proof. And when you smell it, it's got that Heaven Hill nose.
It does.
Yeah, you can tell that's a Heaven Hill whiskey. It's got a lot of caramel,
Mm-hmm.
a little tobacco, a little ginger.
Yeah, the tobacco's pretty heavy on it, yeah.
Yeah, just a hint of like apples or maybe pears, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Nice little ginger spice, a little oak. So let's taste it. Oh, that's good.
That's so good. It really is.
You would not. You'd be hard pressed to guess that was 100 proof.
Yeah, you're right.
And 10 years old.
Right.
I mean, there's not a lot of burn at all in this. There's a little bit of the wood tannins on the finish.
Yeah.
But that's the closest to a burn that you're going to get.
Right. It's just so smooth. Very classic bourbon flavors going on, you know.
A lot of caramel.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it is like pear. A little pear fruit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A little bit of that ginger clove type spice.
Mm-hmm.
A little oak. And that underlying note of good pipe tobacco to me.
Mm-hmm. That tobacco really shines through. Finish, mid palate back here, you know, like, yeah.
And then on the finish, I'll get just like a little hint of chocolate with the oak and the spice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm getting like a hint of cinnamon in there too. Like
cinnamon?
Yeah, a little cinnamon on the spiciness factor. But yeah, it's very complex, very delicious. I mean, the stuff's great. Yeah. I love this stuff.
So let's try it with the cranberry and see what it does.
Right off of it, not my favorite.
No.
Not my favorite.
I mean, it kind of washes out a lot of the flavor.
It does wash out a lot of it. Yeah.
The only thing it does enhance is the spices, because now I'm getting a little bit of that cinnamon, nutmeg.
Yeah, but it cancels out that tobacco.
Yeah.
And that rich caramel. Yeah, it doesn't work as well with the fruit.
No. Not with the dried cranberry, at least.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try it with a pecan. No, that's better.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting like
that chocolate begins to come out.
Chocolate, yeah.
The spices really begin to you know, besides those baking spices, I'm getting a little bit of like a little black pepper.
Yeah, a little black pepper.
Maybe even a hint of the cayenne pepper.
Mm-hmm. I get a little bit of brown sugar going on in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, brown sugar, toffee, caramel, those type of notes.
Yeah, and the more towards the finish, I'm getting that tobacco and a nice oakiness that just kind of lingers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes it chewy and rich and everything I like, and
yeah,
and spicy, everything I like in a good.
Well, I know you love
bourbon.
A good spicy bourbon.
I do, yeah.
So yeah, definitely, this is best. Best drink was neat. I would say I wouldn't want to do a fruity cocktail with it at all.
Right.
That it pairs best with something. This would probably go well in a Kentucky coffee, or while you're eating something savory.
Something more savory, yeah.
Yeah, country ham, maybe a little, a steak even.
Yeah, I think it'd be exceptionally good with the steak. I agree with that, yeah. Because you get that, you put the salt and pepper
ribs
on there. Oh yeah, some of the smoked ribs that I make, yeah.
Yeah, people may not know this, but Matt's one heck of a smoke master here, pit master.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah. So anyway, to Heaven Hill.
To Heaven Hill.
Cheers.
Cheers.